Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. One more person has died from COVID in Saskatchewan. A resident in their 60s from the Northeast Zone has passed away. There are 132 new cases of COVID, including 6 in the Northwest Zone, which includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. 2,099 cases are considered active, 166 of those in our zone. 76 people are in hospital, including 4 in our zone. 17 people are in intensive care. 86 more people have recovered. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced schools to change the way they offer resources usually freely available to students. And in this week's Beyond the Classroom, we take a look at how a few schools in the Lloydminster Public School Division are utilizing a virtual library. This isn't how a school library typically looks, but to avoid the spread of the virus, different measures needed to be taken. One librarian got creative in the way she can offer the library to students at Winston Churchill and Jack Kemp School.
I really wanted to think about how it is that I can connect with the children and really promote literacy within the school community and within the classrooms in a time where necessarily we can't actually reach the kids in the classroom. So with that in mind, I created what is called our virtual library.
She wanted it to be available to all students, and creating an easy layout helps more students access the library.
The virtual library is an extension of our 4 walls. It does not take physical books, but I class it as the barrier-free. So there's no passwords, there's no logins. So virtually, anybody can have access to literacy any time of day, 24/7. It is safe and it is absolutely free.
There's resources accessible to all ages and reading levels. So far, the students have been enjoying it and learning more about their interests.
I like how there's videos that you can watch to read books, and there's games about books and all the great stuff, and then you just learn.
I learned about the animals. I spelled animals in there, and I spelled cat.
With a few classes across LPSD having COVID cases, the virtual library makes it easier for the teachers to reach out to the students at home.
Teachers can utilize the resource in their classroom and while online. And we have seen it actually come into play in the recent weeks, just with different classrooms being put on at-home learning. And the feedback has been fabulous. And it's really easy to navigate from all ages.
And that's it for this week's Beyond the Classroom.
You have goals, and Lakeland College can help you achieve them. Visit lakelandcollege.ca or email hello@lakelandcollege.ca.
The deadline to apply for the Salvation Army's Christmas Hamper program is approaching. Eric Bay has more.
Having seen an increase in the food bank's use this year, the Lloydminster branch of the Salvation Army is closing Christmas hamper applications this Friday, expecting a higher demand this holiday season.
We set the deadline, like I say, so that we can be prepared for people. We have increased the numbers of hampers that we're doing. This year, we've literally doubled from last year. We did 450, and this year we're preparing for 900.
Since the pandemic began, the Salvation Army's client base has continued to grow, prompting the extra hampers.
On the last several months, we have been seeing roughly 5 to 10 new people a week looking for assistance throughout during the weeks. And so on that information, we have increased what we're preparing for this year.
The Christmas Kettle campaign has also been adjusted, with only 3 locations this year: Walmart, Superstore, and the Co-op Marketplace.
Of course, with the increased COVID cases and regulations and everything that's happening with that, we've had to change some of how we do things.
Donations can also be made online or at the Salvation Army's Lloydminster location. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Starting Friday, a new campaign looks to bring more residents downtown while also getting into the holiday spirit. Connor Chan has more.
Well, joining us today is Ben Harrison, and he's one of the organizers of Friday Night Lights, which kicks off this Friday in downtown Lloydminster. Ben, first off, just give us a little bit of background of this event for those that aren't familiar with it.
And we just decided that with a lot of kind of enthusiasm that we're seeing in our community for kind of shopping local or local experiences, and just with the desire to, I guess, celebrate this kind of Christmas season and to provide people with some different experiences, we decided to organize what we're calling Friday Night Lights. So that is starting this Friday night and running for the next 5 Fridays. We have recruited a core of about 5-10 businesses to stay open later. Some businesses are open till 8 p.m., some are open till 9 p.m. And we've also been recruiting different businesses to decorate, to put up lights, to put up Christmas decorations for those businesses that have kind of traditional kind of window displays. We've just been working with them to decorate and kind of create some visual interest along the street front. And so we're just inviting people to take the opportunity, as I said, this Friday, and then running each Friday, the last Friday being Friday, December 18th, just inviting people to come downtown and just to shop local, eat local, and even if they're not necessarily wanting, because I know money is tight for some people, we just really want to create a kind of unique cultural experience for people to create some positive memories of coming downtown, seeing the lights. City of Lloydminster has been doing a great job setting up some lights already in some of the trees and some of the lampposts. So just want to create an opportunity for people to, as a family, to come down and just experience downtown in a new way.
With COVID being a major factor for many events had to either be canceled or just changed this year. What are you hoping with this event to achieve here in the community?
So we're really coming at this from kind of in connection with the downtown area redevelopment plan. So City Council accepted that plan in, I believe, August. And so kind of some of the key themes that are in that plan, and I served actually as an advisory committee member to it, is just to create kind of smaller scale, what we call activations. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge event. It's just like regular opportunities for people to be invited to come downtown to have either unique experiences, whether that's eating, getting together with family or friends, and certainly want to acknowledge the limitations on that right now, but just in general, kind of wanting to find ways for people to just experience the downtown in new ways on a regular basis. So we decided that this would be an opportunity to kind of connect with some of that kind of key initiative coming out of the plan. And rather than kind of, feel like someone else is responsible, myself and my co-organizers just decided that let's do something ourselves. And so with 3 of the people on the committee running local businesses, we just decided to kind of do what they do best, which is offer unique services and unique items, and to be open later on Friday nights, to extend an invitation for people, particularly people who maybe haven't come downtown in a while to do any shopping or to visit any local businesses, just to invite them to come downtown.
And lastly, what's sort of the mood you want to create with this for the people, as well as if other businesses downtown want to get involved, how can they do so?
So part of this is beyond just like the sales side of it and support for businesses. We just want to really help shape a mentality of resilience and positivity. We're encouraging any business. So we know that, there's some businesses located downtown. They might be nonprofits, they might be salons, lawyers, accountants, and for them it may not make sense to be open on Friday nights. We're, at the end of the day, really just wanting to promote our downtown as a great place to do business, a great place for people in our community to come and shop and have really good experiences. And so we're just encouraging any business who's located in the downtown to just, whether it's putting up some extra lights or decorating their windows, we just really are wanting to do something that people can join, and it can kind of be this collective community spirit initiative. And so really we're inviting we're wanting to get that word out, that invitation out to all business owners. And so if they do have any questions, certainly I run a page on Facebook called Strong Lloydminster, and I'd be happy to to hear from other business owners. And if it's something where they have a desire to participate, but if there's a challenge in terms of not everyone loves decorating. And so they are certainly welcome to reach out to myself and my co-organizers, and we'll find a way to see whatever kind of space they want to offer to get decorated, and just really wanting to invite people that, we're aware that there's, I guess, a lot of fear, and rightly so, around COVID, but we're just really wanting people to know that the businesses downtown are still open for business. We'll take all the necessary precautions, and just really invite people to get out, get some fresh air, take in the lights, the window displays, visit some of these small businesses or some of the pop-up vendors that are going to be in the legacy DIY.
Well, Ben, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for joining us today.
The 13th annual Here Comes Santa Claus Day is coming up on December 5th, and this year the event will be a bit different due to the pandemic. Our Shelby Clark spoke with the main organizer of the event to find out what's all involved for families and what safety precautions are set in place for COVID-19.
I'm speaking with Kurt Price, the organizer for Here Comes Santa Claus, coming up on December 5th. How are you today?
Very good. Thanks, Shelby.
How many years has this event been a part of the Lloydminster community?
Well, it works out that 2020 will be perfectly the 13th annual Here Comes Santa Claus. So just a nice 13 lucky number for this 2020 year that has affected so many events and is going to affect ours as well.
Of course, with COVID-19, what safety precautions will be there to avoid the virus for everybody?
Yeah, so a lot of our events, as you know, we generally have Santa Claus at the Atrium Center. The Grinch would be there. We have all sorts of characters there. That's not going to happen this year. So what we've got is we've got a free matinee at May Cinema 6, and we have 7 show times with 10 free matinees of the Grinch from 2018 showing. And that begins early in the morning, right at 10 o'clock, and runs through the afternoon. After the show is over, and of course, Mason Cinema 6 has all their protocols in place, and they do a fantastic job of making sure that everybody is sitting socially and physically distanced, and that they line up physically distanced as well. After the show is over, Santa Claus is going to make a little appearance for the kids, and then the kids are invited to walk across the street with their families, and that's where they'll receive their treat bags this year, and those would be just sitting on tables and ready for them to pick up. Santa's elves will be helping out that way. And so we've got, some great sponsors that stepped up and said, even though this day is going to change a little bit, we want it to stay the same. Dairy Queen, Fountain Tire, J-Guard, they still wanted to sponsor those great treat bags. So we're still going to do that. The Grinch is still going to have his Dairy Queen treats there, even though we're not exactly sure whether the Grinch can make it yet or not.
And who all helped sponsor with the event this year?
Well, 2 of our huge sponsors every year are Synergy Credit Union and Service Credit Union. And Synergy Credit Union has sponsored a wiener roast in the past. That can't go this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So Service Credit Union and Synergy are teaming up for the fireworks. That'll shoot off 7 p.m. downtown Lloydminster. And we've got other great sponsors that help us out each and every year. Stephanie Dobson with Hanka Divorce and Law Mediation, the Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce, the Lloydminster District Co-op. Sobeys has always been really, really big part of Here Comes Santa Claus. And it was those sponsors that stepped up and said, let's make sure that this event still goes on.
And in previous years, has there always been lots of support with Here Comes Santa Claus and with residents coming in attendance?
There has. Every year it has grown. It's been amazing to watch. I get excited when Santa Claus comes down the street as well in his sleigh. But unfortunately, that won't be the case this year. But Santa is still going to make an appearance, and we still have opportunities for you to do things together as a family, and one of those things is to get your picture taken with your family and with Santa Claus. So we've got a great Christmas photo contest this year that Border City Furniture is sponsoring overall. And what happens is we have 5 different categories. When you complete all 5 of those categories, you have the chance to win a $1,000 prize, a $500 Sobeys gift card, plus $500 to donate to the charity of your choice. The other thing that we have are up for grabs are 20 photos with Santa Claus that are physically distanced and family photos from Noise Photography at the Lloyd Mall. We've got Christmas cookie decorating at home this year. We normally do it at the Olive Tree, but it'll be at home this year. But that'll give you a chance to win some gift cards to Co-op. Walking on Water Toys wants to see your Christmas trees. You do that, and the kids could win a $50 gift card to Walking on Water Toys. There's 6 of those. Lloydminster Nissan is a new sponsor this year, and they're sponsoring $100 home hardware gift cards for anybody that has decorated their home that wants to send in a picture of. We have 5 of those prizes, and I mentioned Hank divorce and law mediation. This is where it gets really fun. We want you to gather around your Christmas tree, sing a Christmas carol with your family, send it in to us, and you could win a fantastic $100 gift card to Spiro's. We've got 5 of those. So our sponsors have really, really stepped up this year to make sure that, yeah, even though things are different, it is still going to be a day that is focused around family, focused around fun, focused around the Christmas season.
Well, and this is very exciting to hear that it's going to still be happening this year for families. How can people help out with this event or help support for it this year now that it's coming up so soon?
Yeah, we generally have all our volunteers now, and to be honest, not many are needed this year compared to in previous years. But the fact that the community has stepped up, I want to mention Century 21 Drive. They're sponsoring the gingerbread houses, along with the Connect and Kinsman Club of Lloydminster. I mean, people have already stepped up. Our organizations like that have already stepped up, and we really appreciate that. And now it's just, taking a movie with your family. We feel very strongly that it's safe at May Cinema 6. They brought us in. They showed us exactly what will happen with the protocols that they've put in place. And I'm really, really confident that you can go see a show and have a great time and walk across the street, get your treats, go grab a gingerbread house. And then that night, the city is having, with the Lloydminster Fire Department and the tent guys, a drive-through hot chocolate stand at City Hall. So you drive through, you grab a hot chocolate, and then you go watch the Synergy and Service Credit Union fireworks. And those will shoot off right over downtown. So you park anywhere downtown where there's a parking lot, basically, and no building parking, blocking your view to the north. And you're going to see a really good fireworks show.
Wow, well, I think this is amazing that this is still happening for families this year, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kurt.
Thanks, Shelby. And we want to thank the radio stations there at Stingray and PTLN and the Meridian Source for sponsoring as well.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
All of the PGA majors until the new year are now in the books, with Dustin Johnson winning the 84th Masters on Sunday. Evan County has more on the historic win.
Well, with the 84th Masters wrapping up on Sunday, we have a new champion. DJ Dustin Johnson shooting a 20 under is your new Masters champion. Finally gets that green jacket. Joining me today to break all this down is Marty Wheaton from Wheaton Golf Services and the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Club. Marty, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Evan.
Now, Marty, we chatted last Friday as the Masters was going on, and we talked about some of the potential picks who we thought could win. Neither of us actually chose Dustin Johnson, even though he was leading at that point. Are you surprised whatsoever that he did win the Masters?
No surprise there for sure. DJ's been knocking on the door for so many years, and honestly, so many bad breaks. It was great to see him win the Masters finally and get that second major championship under his belt. And I do think this is going to be the springboard for Dustin Johnson to win, 5, 6, 7, 8 majors.
And I mean, not just winning this major, but 20 under does set a Masters record for low score, beating 18 under, which was previously set by Jordan Spieth, and as well Tiger Woods doing it back in '97. I mean, just winning in this sort of amount, this the way that Dustin did, do you think that really changes people's opinion on Dustin Johnson not being able to win majors and about him, choking on Sundays as he's done in the past?
Yeah, I think it will definitely change people's opinion moving forward of Dustin Johnson because throughout the whole day, you've seen some challenges there, bogeys on 4 and 5, and, we might start to think this is what's going to happen again. It's going to get him in the end, but hole number 6, he threw one in there on the par 3, made birdie, and got right back on track. And that's really gut check time. It's really tough in a major championship when all the eyes are on you, and it's such a precision game, knowing the history that he had and everything like that. So I think it was a big stepping stone for Dustin. He's 36 years old, so he's still got 8 to 10 years of great golf. He can stay healthy.
Now, one part that Dustin definitely did not struggle on was Amen Corner. Throughout the weekend, he did not get a single bogey on any of the 3 holes there. And we saw, a couple guys have some troubles, especially on 12, where we saw Tiger put up a 10 on the par 3 there. He's not the first to do it, as we saw Jordan Spieth do it not too many years beforehand. How big is that corner just for, the potential of turning who is in the leaderboard there?
For sure, big risk reward with Amen's Corner, and that's why you see a lot of people separate themselves or either come back to the field on that stretch. So certainly exciting. And to say, I think 4 bogeys throughout the entire tournament for Dustin Johnson, even luck would say you would make more than 4 bogeys. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. So it's just fantastic play under immense pressure.
Another first to happen at the Masters, Cameron Smith, who tied for second at 15 under. He went every single round in the 60s, which has never been done before. Do you think maybe he's part of this new wave of the PGA that we're seeing coming in?
I think Cameron Smith has definitely showed himself, more so on the European Tour and now the world stage with the Masters. And a young guy for sure has plenty of promise. I do feel like the golf course was playing easier than it would normally in April, hence the 20 under from Dustin Johnson, hence all rounds in the 60s from Cameron Smith. But it's nothing to take away from it. It was just much different under soft, wet conditions in November.
And then one more younger guy who did amazing as well, tying for second with Smith there, was Sungjae Im. Only 22 years old. He was the 2019 PGA Rookie of the Year. Is this another guy that we could see coming up soon?
I think Sungjae Im for sure is going to be one of them. The way that he hit his drives that final day, the way he was getting up and down, and that's where you can see the nerves for sure, is whenever you're around the short game, the touch part of the game. If a guy has nerves, that's where you're going to see it. And he had so many good up and downs the final day and really held his nerve well. So I think moving forward, Sungjae Im is going to be a heck of a player.
Yeah, and for me, just watching him, especially on that Sunday there, just the amount of different shots that he kind of has hidden up his sleeve for being only 22 years old. A lot of those usually come with time, but he's starting to sort of figure out really in depth how the golf game really works. Marty, it's always a pleasure getting to chat with you. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks again, Evan.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Looking at our temperatures right now, still sitting at -6 right now. We're a little bit colder as we look at some cities out west. Now, of course, I did mention earlier that Edmonton is currently, a lot of this area here is going to get that snow. It's going to move all its way up north here, past us, a little bit northern areas. So areas like Cold Lake and Lac La Biche will be seeing some snow. But for us, we're not going to get that till later in the early mornings of tomorrow, around that 5 or 6 a.m. mark. That's when it's going to start coming our way. But as we take a look at some other temperatures, -9 in Edson, -8 in Rocky Mountain House, -11 in Whitecourt, -9 in Athabasca, and -7 in Red Deer, with -5 in Cold Lake, -4s in Meadow Lake, Prince Albert, Melfort, and -3 in Saskatoon. Now taking a look up in northern Alberta and Saskatchewan, -8 in La Loche and in Buffalo Narrows, -9 we see in Walston Lake, and then -10 up in the very northern areas of Uranium City and Stony Rapids. Taking a look at northern Alberta right now, also fairly cool as we see some double-digit temperatures there. Peace River, Grand Prairie at -13, -12 for High Level, -9 in Fort McMurray and Fort Chipeway. We see -11 in Slave Lake. Now taking a look at southern Alberta, still fairly warm as there's still some cities in the positives like Lethbridge and Banff sitting at 6 degrees in Lethbridge and 3 in Banff. We see -7 in Calgary, -3 in Medicine Hat. We also see -5 right now in Coronation, -4 right now as we look over into southern Saskatchewan and Kindersley, -3 in Swift Current, 2 degrees in Regina today, 4 in Yorkton, and 5 degrees in Estevan and 0 in Moose Jaw. So fairly a little bit warmer days for southern Saskatchewan compared to what we saw over the last couple of days. Now taking a look across the country, cloud coverage in Winnipeg, -3 in Quebec City, 0 in Toronto, 1 degree in St. John's, and -2 in Halifax with some cloud coverage. We saw a little bit more sun in Regina today as they still sit at that 1 degree mark. -6 in Edmonton, -8 now as it just changed on me there. So -8 for Edmonton, of course, with some snow. -9 degrees, for Vancouver. -15 up in Yellowknife, and then -18 in Whitehorse with some flurries coming down right now. We are going to be a little bit colder heading into tomorrow here as we look. We are going to be sitting at -14 as our expected daytime high. We see -13s in Vegreville, Vermilion, Marwayne. We see -12 up in Bonnyville, and then -11s in Cold Lake and Pierceland as well, with -12s in Provost, Wainwright, and Edmonton. Looking in Saskatchewan right now, -11s will be the consistent number we see in areas like Meadow Lake, Pierceland, Green Lake, and in North Battleford for tomorrow. Most of the areas we'll see here, we know North Battleford is going to get some snow as well as us. We could see upwards up to maybe 5 centimeters, maybe a little bit more. But again, as I mentioned, it's not going to start until the early parts of the morning. So that's 6 a.m. mark when we could start to see it. Now, as we take a look at our next 7 days here, we're going to still have some fairly cold temperatures throughout the day. Could feel more so like -20 over the next several days with that wind chill. -12 Friday, -7 Saturdays. We should see a little bit more sun there. And then cold temperatures once again continuing on Sunday, Monday, -10 the daytime high for both those days. -8 on Tuesday as we should have a little bit of a clearer day. Nice sun in the forecast there, and then -7 on Wednesday where we could see more snow coming our way with that 80% chance there. That is a look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
I'm joined today on Primetime Local News for the beginning of a new series. Stephanie Dobson is joining me here today. Stephanie is a lawyer and mediator located in Lloydminster. And Stephanie, over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about divorce. It's a tough subject, but we wanted to talk about so many different aspects that are involved with this. So first of all, I want to thank you for joining us and helping us make some of these points clear.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, the first thing we're going to talk about, Stephanie, is something that is very pertinent right now, and that is the COVID-19 scenario. And unfortunately, during COVID-19, people who are trying to co-parent kids, it makes things much more difficult for them already. So can you tell me about some of the challenges that parents would face when they are co-parenting during this pandemic?
So it can be really difficult because let's talk in particular, for example, about switching between homes. So one of the things that we know, of course, with parenting from two homes is the nature of it, is that parents or kids will have to switch between homes. And what we know of this virus is that will increase the communicableness or the spread of this virus. And so most people at this stage of the pandemic, if they have been co-parenting in two homes for some time, have been really already thinking about these kind of things and having some extra precautions put in place. But it's really important as we think about families even that are in higher risk categories. You might be just starting out your shared parenting or your co-parenting, and it's really important that we consider if there are some risks of higher transmission risks. For example, if there's a parent that works in a frontline worker, for example, or is more interacting with the public, or there might be some member of your household, whether it's a child or a parent or your partner, who is in a higher risk category, might have some immune compromisation, or there might be an elderly person living in your household. So it's really important as we're going through co-parenting is really to try to be flexible with each other and to try to come up with the solution that works best for the households, that works best for the parents, and not and for the children, not necessarily just sort of more of a rights-based approach.
So Stephanie, what would you tell people, like where do they even get started with something like this? What's the best step for the first step?
Okay, so it really depends, because everyone, of course, who's separating is in a slightly different situation. So there might be some people who have already developed a parenting plan, which is really where you talk about scheduling, decision-making, responsibilities, that sort of thing. So you might even already have a court order that imposes certain parameters around the parenting. And so for those types of situations, of course, the overarching idea has to be with an emphasis on maintaining those kind of arrangements. We don't want to be broad stroke changing them just to change them. Having said that, it is important, if possible, if the parents are able to be flexible with each other, is to sit down and have those conversations to negotiate a COVID-specific parenting plan. For parents who haven't necessarily figured that out yet, you might be at the start of your separation, or you just might not have quite figured out exactly what the schedule might look like yet. It's really important to think about it from a child's, from the children's point of view, or even from parents' work schedules point of view. Let's be really practical about it. If you've decided to keep your children home and do online learning or homeschooling, there might be some challenges with, only one of the two parents is able to actually stay home with the children and supervise that. And so, if there's frontline, one of the parents or both parents might be frontline workers, you may have to think about that sort of thing, and if there's additional risks with respect to that kind of interaction with the public.
Now, Stephanie, as parents are going forward and they're trying to make plans, and obviously things change all the time and provinces keep changing the rules on them, what are some of the factors that should be considered when parents are doing this? Because obviously it's not the way the world used to be, so there does have to be some flexibility. So what are the things that people should be thinking about when they're making these plans?
I think you hit the nail on the head there when you use the word flexibility. Flexibility really is what we're looking for, because it's not about creating something that is going to go on for some time into the future. We're talking about a pandemic. None of us have been through this before. It's all brand new territory. It's brand new territory for the decision makers, for us as human beings, for children. And if you can use that overarching principle of flexibility, you'll probably be able to develop something that really is going to work for both of your households. Now, when we're looking at negotiating things like this, you may be able to sit down at the kitchen table with your former spouse and negotiate something, or you may have to actually, use a professional to assist you. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it. Just because you need to use a professional doesn't mean that it has to necessarily become adversarial or high conflict. Sometimes actually having a professional involved can actually serve to reduce the conflict. And that's what we're really looking for, in my opinion, in these kind of times, is to try to reduce the conflict, not escalate it on a rights-based scenario.
Okay, well, Stephanie, we want to thank you so much for joining us here today. And as we go forward with these series, there's all kinds of topics we're going to talk about regarding divorce and separation. So we invite people to stay tuned every Wednesday. We'll be running this. And once again, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your insight into this.
Thank you so much for having me.
Joined by Brenda Oster from Hickory Farm Store here in Lloydminster. Thanks for taking some time to talk to me today, Brenda.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So just starting off, can you just tell me a little bit about what Hickory Farms is?
So Hickory Farms is a company that has been a family tradition since 1951. We have lots of meats and cheeses and some treats along the way. We're a great gift giving.
Yeah, you mentioned this is a great store to go kind of Christmas shopping in and get some gifts. What kind of products do you guys carry?
So we carry singular meats and cheeses, but we also have lots of gift boxes. And we have some savory meats. We have cheese balls, as well as smoked cheese. Most of our product, which is kind of unique, doesn't need to stay in the refrigerator. We have a few things that do, but otherwise most of it is things you can wrap up and put under the Christmas tree.
And obviously the Hickory Farm store here in Lloydminster opened recently. Where is the store located, and when can people come by to shop?
We are open during mall hours because we are in the Lloydminster Mall. And so we are located on the Safeway end of the mall in the main section.
And how exciting was it to be able to open this store? Obviously, it's uncertain times and there's changing restrictions, but how exciting is it to open it for this holiday season?
It's really exciting, honestly. We have such a great product and so many loyal customers. Every year, I just love getting to know people. And so this year, you know, you get to have your conversations and meet a few people along the way, and also provide some Christmas gift giving ideas for the hard to buy.
And is there anything else you want to add today before we end it?
No, just come on down, say hi, and enjoy Hickory Farms.
All right, thanks for taking some time to talk with me today, Brenda.
Okay, thanks. Have a good day.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. Minus 14 tomorrow, as we could see possibly up to 5 centimeters of snow. Friday, minus 12, minus 7 on Saturday, as we should see a little bit more sun. We'll still have some cold temperatures continuing on into Monday there with that minus 10. We could be expecting and some wind on both those days there. And a little bit clearer skies on Tuesday at minus 8. And then we'll see minus 7 there on Wednesday, where we could see an 80% chance that we will get some more snow. Usually average, we're well above average for our daytime high, which is usually minus 5 around this time of year. Then minus 12 is our average daytime low, as we've of course had much colder mornings with the wind chill.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a good night.